Welcome everyone to the live stream making a commercial. Today we're going to be working mostly in Adobe Premiere, but we might hop over to another program or something like that a little bit later on when we're making graphics. Um, Now today we are again live, and so if you guys are joining in on the stream, then you can comment in the little comment section on the right hand side of your screen or on the bottom if you're on mobile, I believe, and we can talk live. If you have any questions as we're going along, we can certainly answer them. Next week, by the way, next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is the 100th episode of VLAMP, Video Lighting, Audio, Music, Photography How-To Show. And I'm really excited for that episode because we are going to go live for that episode. We are also going to be doing a little marathon beforehand of every episode we've ever done, which might actually be a couple hours each day instead of just as we kind of have it up right now on YouTube. So let us know in the comment section below what you want us to do for the 100th episode special as far as a marathon goes. But I know that we are going to go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live stream of the 100th episode special on Monday, July 10th, 2017. So please join us for that. And then I believe right after that, we're going to be doing a little bit of commentary on some of our favorite moments on the show and things like that. So anyway, we're going to jump right into the edit here of a commercial that we're trying to make right now for our commercials division here at MHB Studios. If you guys want to learn how to make a commercial, basically this will tell you a little bit of how we edit a commercial. As far as getting to the point where we have all the footage, that stuff that basically any filmmaker would kind of know, because it's scripting, making sure the client's happy with the script. I mean, of course, when you're doing a script for your own film, you get to decide, whether or not you're going to be happy with the script or not. Whereas in a commercial standpoint, you have to make sure your customer's going to be happy with the script that you're going to go and produce. So with a commercial and stuff like that, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and it's much, much different than what you're used to in filmmaking. But it's generally just a script that you follow. And once you get to this point, we have a script on this as well. It's just a matter of exactly how we're going to do it. We have lots and lots of footage, as you can see over here. I was talking yesterday about the importance of, and I'll actually bring up that episode for you because it's kind of important. So we did this episode yesterday, how to organize your footage, July 2017 update. That was a live episode as well. We're kind of talking about just the importance of organizing your footage and keeping every single piece of footage you have, because someday you might need it. And this is kind of why. We've done a ton of commercials in our past at my company, but we kind of need the ability to go back into the raw footage of each and every commercial and find different clips for different things. So for this commercial, we're trying to kind of sell our commercials. And so we're going to kind of let you listen on this for just a second.
Here at Madhausen Productions, we know how to sell. In fact, we've been helping our customers sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of their products and services since 2001 by providing amazing small business commercials at an affordable price. We have filmed for BBC, HBO, Showtime, PBS, and plenty of local broadcasters. And now our expertise and equipment is available for your small business at an incredible price. Unlike television networks, we're not looking to sell you a package of ads on our network. Our main goal is to give you an incredible commercial you can post anywhere online, focused on your amazing products and services. And just in case you have the need someday, rest assured, we film all our projects in Broadcast Rec 709 standards, which make our videos ready for any cable or satellite broadcaster. Unlike any other video company, we don't force you to close your business for a day while we bring in tons of film equipment. Here at MHP, we pride ourselves in providing a much better quality product with very little equipment, meaning you can carry on business as usual and keep your doors open to paying customers while we film. We'll first speak to you about what your business does and what makes your company special. We then write a comprehensive script, and if needed, we can look into our database of local actors to find you the perfect on-air talent. Shortly after, filming typically takes no more than one business day. After your project is edited, you have the opportunity to make any changes you like, and we send you the finished commercial. After your commercial is complete, we can also help you spread your commercial to the local area or the world, and if needed, help you advertise your brand with our comprehensive graphic design services. In the past, we've helped startup companies sell over $100,000 of product in less than 24 hours after their commercials aired on social media. We've helped small businesses just like yours grow, and the commercials we make have paid for themselves many times over to the companies they advertise. So if you want to advertise your small business, your amazing products and services, or if you want to get your message out to the world, give us a call today at 570-544-3136 to see how Madhausen Productions can help your business grow.
All right, so that is the audio complete. We did the audio quite a few days ago, and it's just basically a simple voiceover with some music behind it, so I'll show you.
Here at Madhausen Productions, we know how to sell. In fact,
so yeah, it's just a simple voiceover that we did probably a couple weeks ago now. But because we've been really busy around the office lately, and with my birthday on July 3rd, and a music video that had to come out, and a new single for the merchandise store, it's been absolutely crazy trying to get the album on iTunes and stuff like that. It's finally up now, by the way. If you want to go check it out, it's One Word, the Cancer Song by Matt Haslam. It's an awesome song, but that took a while to actually get done. Because it was just a lot of work.
People don't always want to go to a mall. They want to.
So, basically, on my left project panel here, there's a bunch of commercials that we've done, footage from a ton of commercials that we've done, and it's just a ton of stuff that we have to now sort through. Because this commercial is, by the way, a commercial for a commercial. So, we're trying to show to people that basically we know how to film almost anything, and we can help you sell almost anything, you know? So we're going to go to just a couple projects here, maybe find a couple clips in here that we really want to use, and I'm just going to, commentate along the way. And so this is one we did for, was done for a local network that they edited, but we shot all the footage for. So we want to show a couple shots of the footage.
People don't always want to go to a mall. They want to sit in the privacy, have that individual attention, where the wardrobe is built for the woman according to her lifestyle, her coloring, her body shape. Everything is unique about her. So she needs to have that individualized attention. And I've been very proud to be able to accommodate not only local Schuylkill County residents, but those who are willing to travel the distance. People don't always want to go to a mall. They want to sit in the privacy, have that individual attention, where the wardrobe is built for the woman according.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know there's other footage of that same exact business somewhere down here, so I'm gonna go find that really quick, because sometimes when we film something, we hand it over to a network, and the network edits it for us, and they put it on their network, and it's not necessarily the best edit of a project that you can possibly have. Sometimes there's plenty of great footage, but We just aren't the ones to edit it. And so I want to go find that footage now, because I kind of want to just go project by project and just get a ton of footage. And this is sometimes what you, and basically in a scripted situation, you would have, oh, this has to be here, this has to be here. In this situation, the script is just the voiceover, and the actual footage that we're going to show isn't always scripted out. And so I kind of just want to find that footage really quick, because that's kind of important to show. And that's if the footage is actually in here, not in our RAID system. As we were talking about yesterday, there's a big importance on keeping everything organized. That way you can go find everything at any time. It's just how things should work, you know? You want things to be as simple as possible, and it's not in here, of course. So I'm going to go find that really quick. But anyway, I'm going to go find it over here. I have no idea what that is. Okay. I have no idea what that sound is. So. Oh, it's the task. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We're going to go. I know it's in here. I know it's somewhere in here, because I filmed it that year. I know I filmed it that year. Oh, here we are. Sorry about that, guys. Oh. And sometimes you miss a couple files, and I'm sorry about that. But we really do try hard to. I try hard to get things ready before a live stream, and it almost never works out perfectly. Let's see. Okay, so I was looking for another shot, but I actually really like this. I'm not too worried about the audio.
Well, this is a 12.
Oh.
No, it's not.
It's not real short.
It's not real short.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I really like that shot. I'm going to bring that into the project. And by the way, what I'm doing here, for those of you who are just joining us, because this is a live stream, not just the rebroadcast.
Here at Madhouse,
what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a bunch of like just regular footage of just a bunch of different things to showcase in this commercial, and then we'll edit down from there what we're actually going to use and where we're going to put it in the actual commercial. So, like for instance, it's really weird because we have so many expensive cameras here at MHP. We have you know, this is something I've talked about on the show before in like a Q&A or something like that, but we have, 10 cameras that we shoot with on almost every production, well, I would say most productions we shoot with 10 cameras. And what's weird is the fact that this shot right here, which is probably like one of the cooler like shots that you can get of a Chevy truck for a commercial, pulling a New Holland, thing, which, I mean, in a truck commercial, you really want to showcase that, oh, this truck is really strong, and, that's only a 2500, so it's not the most powerful truck in that series, but yet look at what it's towing, It's towing this big trailer with this uh, Kubota? No, not Kubota. But construction equipment on it. I cannot think of the word, and I know my father's in the construction industry. I should know this. And I've actually used those before. I should know this. I don't think I might have driven one. But I should know that regardless. But we want to show that, hey, this is pulling such weight and it's only a 2500, and so, and look how beautiful it is. And I mean, it was a perfect shot for us, but believe it or not, this was shot on an iPhone. So we have all these really expensive cameras, and then this was shot on an iPhone, which is crazy, One of the better shots we've gotten of trucks. I don't think you can see it there, but it was actually shot on an iPhone, because like normally there'd be a big reflection there of a camera and a cameraman standing there, but we didn't want that, and so I basically just threw my cell phone down and said, you know what, like, let me just try it, and sure enough, holy crap, it turned out perfect, and I know some of you might say, well, the top of this is cut off, I really don't care about that, what I care about is that it shows that it's pulling it, and it shows the truck perfectly, so I don't, because I'm not trying to sell this, because that's like a little bit rusty, so I'm not trying to sell that, but I'm trying to sell the truck, which looks beautiful, and it's like, it's a perfect background kind of thing to it. But yeah, that was shot on an iPhone, for those of you who are wondering out in the audience, like, exactly, yeah, that was shot on an iPhone. But that's what we're doing right now. We're going through a whole bunch of footage. So I know there's a shot here of, and maybe it's before that. Oh, here it is. And like I said, what I'm trying to do right now is just trying to find the best footage to use during this commercial of like of that truck. We're trying to get a shot of, this woman is trying to help this other woman find a perfect outfit at the shop. What we'll end up doing is kind of making, I have snapping on, so do forgive me, because I prefer to have snapping on. For those of you who don't like snapping, Tool and Premiere, sorry, I like it a lot, and it's like my favorite thing. So what we're going to do here, yeah, so I like that a lot. Now we're going to kind of move on to the next shot, which, So, I mean, this commercial, by the way, is going to go out to a bunch of small businesses in the area, and we want to show that, hey, you know, we know how to shoot your hair salon. We know how to shoot your dress shop. We know how to shoot your car, Um, we know how to do this, And so that's why we're picking a bunch of different random commercials that we've done in the past for different companies and different networks, because sometimes we're not hired directly by the small business. We're hired by, or we're lined up by the network. And so sometimes that's what we do.
First of all, again, I want to say thank you for backing this project. Inspired Designs would not be where it is today if it wasn't for your support. You've been instrumental to our success, and you can help us repeat that success. Being featured as an
this is a little
in-demand campaign
commercial that
is a
we
huge
did
opportunity
for
to get exposure
an Indiegogo
to a friendly
campaign.
group of people just as crazy about crowdfunding as you are. And they've never seen this campaign before, so it's brand new to them. But just to keep you guys interested, we're introducing some new rewards, and we're giving you the opportunity to be the first to get them and at a reduced price. Also, we're running a contest to see who can share the campaign the most, and the winner will receive one of everything we make. So please, share the Indiegogo campaign and take advantage of the early backer discounts.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna bring that in there, like that. Like that a lot. Cut it there. And for those who don't know, I'm using the L and J keys a lot here. L is just fast forward a little bit so you can watch a little bit faster replay. J is so you can watch a little bit you can reverse a little bit. I use those keys a lot, and I'm using the V key and the C key to change back and forth between my pointer and my cut tool. It just, the more hotkeys you know in a program, the better. And I actually have a little thing on my keyboard, which is a Logic keyboard thing for Adobe Premiere. It just helps me find those hotkeys a lot easier. It's a Logic keyboard thing of just little mat that goes over your keyboard just to make it a little bit easier to find different hotkeys in editing. I have two of them for my keyboard for the iMac, just because I also use Final Cut Pro, and when you're switching back and forth between programs all the time, it does get quite difficult to figure out, oh, that was a hotkey in Adobe Premiere, not Final Cut, and so that's kind of what I want to show of that. Next up would be, they're all kind of like the same, because I mean, sometimes we do a commercial and we do a couple like, these are called GIF files for a client. They just wanted a little 5-6 second long clip to show on Facebook or something like that, or Instagram or one of the social networking sites. They just wanted something really quick to showcase a product to their fans, and then they'll end up putting the GIF files on a post or something like that, and sponsoring something on Facebook or something similar, and that way it gets out there. So we just have a couple of those. So we're going to move on to the next one.
I have Paw Prints Pet Salon, which we do grooming. We also have a retail boutique where we have presents, surprises for your pet and your pet lover. We have lots of t-shirts and gift items, along with things to keep your dog happy. We also do a doggy daycare service, which is really good for people who work outside the area or have a day trip that they want to go to, that they don't want to leave their dog home all alone. So you can drop off early before you go to work or your trip, and then come back in the evening and pick up your dog. And in the meantime, they have stay and play with friends. New to the area, we have mobile grooming, so that if you can't get out, some people, the dog gets car sick. It's a good way to just come to your doorstep. It's fully contained. We have water, we have electric, everything is all hooked up.
Okay. So sometimes I'm actually kind of happy with the edit that a network does on a project. Most of the time, I'm pretty happy with the one they do.
Prince Pet Salon, which we do grooming. We all
Most of the time, I'm happy. I shouldn't say that I'm only sometimes happy, because I am most times happy with what they do.
that they want to go to, that they don't. It's fully contained. We have water, we have electric, everything is all hooked up.
So, I mean, already here's just some of our footage. I mean, we have a pickup truck commercial, we have a dress shop commercial, we have a hair salon, we have a product photography shoot, and we have a dog grooming service, right? So far we have a bunch of this different footage in here, and we're only going to just add a ton more. That's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to add as much as we possibly can to something like this. Now, one thing that I actually did a while back that I liked with commercial footage was not in a commercial at all, because we couldn't actually show it in a commercial, but I actually really like how it turned out. If I can find it, I will show you guys, because it is awesome. I'm going to bring in just a bunch of these different things, just to kind of like update us all on.
You know what a gandy dancer is? I was a gandy dancer. Somebody was up there where we once started. The Orangeburg Historical Society is so lucky to have in its possession the original horn style of Superman. Right by generation.
So this shot right here, okay? This is what I was trying to find. So this shot right here starts, let's see, if I can go frame by frame here with the arrow keys. I'm going to just do an in with the I key. Okay. I like that music. Typically, whatever I choose for demo reel and show reel, it's probably one of my favorite songs of the time. I listen to a bunch of, copyright-free music, by the way. I don't subscribe to any, music website or something like that just does free music, or not free, but, subscription-based music. I don't do any of that. I don't like any of that music. I really don't, and it's way too expensive for what it is. So I just basically go on to, I will show you how I got my music. That's us right now. But I'll show you how we do this. So I just go under the Creator Studio. And by the way, 100th episode is up right now, ready to go. But I go into the music library on YouTube, and I just... Ooh, that's good. Okay. So I just listen to a bunch of stuff on here, when I'm bored. and I find a bunch of stuff, download it, and I have a whole folder um, on my computer just copyright free music that I know I can use in any in any video that I want to make one day. And that's actually what this is right here. That music. That is copyright free music that I can use at any time, you know? But I like this shot right here because it's kind of like a store. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to use it, but I'll bring it into the project anyway because that's how I edit. You can edit a completely different way. I don't want to delete that. Why would I do that? Whenever I'm live on air, I make mistakes. So I mean that's kind of what I do. I just bring in footage to maybe use it and then edit down from there. So like I might end up with like 5 minutes of just pure stock footage kind of stuff from our database of what we've shot in the past, and then I'll edit that down to the 2 minutes and 13 seconds that we actually need. But I know some shots here. There is another shot actually of that. That I actually like a whole lot more than that one. I'm just going through to find footage now. I do apologize for the awkward silences every once in a while in this video. But, sometimes you need awkward silence too, you know? No, actually, you don't need awkward silence ever. It's a thing where and what I do, I just scrub through footage like this to just to see what I'm dealing with. And like right there, I really like that shot because it's of a man walking into a store, and that's what we're trying to do in commercials is we're trying to like sell, obviously. So I mean, at a certain point, we kind of just say, let's show someone going into this store. Let's show that this store is popular. You know, let's show this. We try to show as much of that as possible, rather than just showing an outside of a store. Let's show someone walking into it. You know, and that's kind of really, really important in a commercial to show off. So now we have that in our commercial for a commercial. I don't really love that too much. So that's 725. Okay. And I'm going to probably show a bunch of this hardware store in my commercial because I really do like it. I like this hardware store a lot. And they were really nice to us while we were filming there. So. Um, Again, apologize for the awkward silence at certain points in this video. Because sometimes when you're in an edit, you kind of just like get wrapped up in the edit and you're just sitting there going, okay, um, this is kind of, and editing is one of those things where you just sit there and you're sometimes like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I'm not used to being on a microphone when I'm editing yet. So one day I will be. Oh, I sort of like that a lot. And that is probably a copyright strike right there. With the T Swift song in the background. Taylor Swift, by the way, if you don't know what T Swift meant. And I'm gonna skip past that because I don't want a copyright strike. So let's just go in here really quick and fix that rotation on that shot. No, I don't want that one. I want this one. And I make mistakes when I'm live. As you will, as any editor does. By the way, this is plenty good enough footage that I can zoom in on it. Oh, and it's out of focus. Of course, I had to say that it was good footage. Oh, I knew I did one. Okay. There's the much better one. I knew I did it. Because I actually used this piece of footage before in a project. And there's where we're going to actually stop it. Yeah, so I like that shot relatively. Some point I might edit it out, but one thing that's important to note about commercials is that I actually shot this footage, and then another editor and I were talking for a bit, not necessarily about this commercial, but just in general. We were just talking about different projects and stuff. And one little piece of advice that he sent my way, which I think is a really great piece of advice, is that whenever you're doing a commercial or anything for commercial purposes, it's never a good idea to put money anywhere in the actual commercial, unless you're talking about, unless your commercial is for a bank or something like that. Then you might want to show a little bit of money of, you can trust this bank with money. But in a commercial such as this, where we're trying to, sell a hardware store and get people to come there, we don't want people to see money. We don't want people to think that, because, even though when you're going to a store, obviously you're going to want to put, and obviously you're going to want to bring some money with you to buy that screwdriver that you need, or whatever you actually do need. But at the same time, whenever you show money in a video or a commercial to advertise something, it makes it seem it subconsciously shows the audience that it's going to cost them money to go there. We don't want that. So we don't even want to showcase money at all. And other products and other commercials and stuff for specific products, or maybe like a service like a amusement park or something like that, which I'll bring in some of that right now while I'm thinking of it. of an amusement park, sorry, is that sometimes we do want to show that, hey, this will cost um, tickets for only $33 or something like that, we might say. But for the most part, we want to kind of exclude the whole thing of money on the table. We don't want money to be involved in a commercial, because we don't want to really showcase that it's gonna cost money to go there. We like just showing people that maybe so we kind of like just showing people that, hey, this is a service you can get, or you can go to this store, and that's that. So with this cashier opening the drawer and so on and so forth, that's great, but not great footage for a commercial. So with all that being said, I mean, there's gonna be random bits of tips in here as well on what you should and shouldn't do in commercial purposes. But that's all gonna come in time, because this might take a little bit to edit. This might be a pretty long episode, because we're not even like halfway through it yet, and we're already at 41 minutes.
Well, we usually have our orders on Friday, so I put everything up.
Whatever you normally do.
Well, we usually have.
Okay. So again, this is all just B-roll kind of shots that we shoot, and typically when you're filming a commercial, that's what you get on top of your like voiceover or whatever you're gonna actually show. For instance, that commercial I showed earlier of the product photography thing, this right here, no, I'm sorry, that right there, right? That's just a B-roll shot, right? It's technically classified as B-roll, but it's put on top of a piece of footage of the founder of that company talking about the product itself, So it's put on top of this shot. This was shot in front of a green screen. Behind him is just a photo of the product that he's talking about. And then this is just a B-roll shot that was put over top of him talking that we shot. And this is actually his hand doing the motion that was needed. And it only took maybe 4 hours or something, if I'm not mistaken, to film this commercial. But yeah, so it only took a couple hours to film it, but it ended up being really good. And if you haven't checked out what this is, it's called Ferro Fluid, and that was one of the products where it was it was for an Indiegogo campaign, and that ended up selling, believe it or not. I don't mean that to sound weird, but that ended up selling over $100,000 of product in 24 hours after the Indiegogo campaign was out. And so it's one of the bigger success stories of not necessarily my career, but it's a really cool success story of a commercial that did really well, and I'm really happy with that. This was shot. I'm trying to remember where this was shot at. These pieces of footage. It was an antique shop that we filmed.
Cool. And that's cool. That's all cool.
Okay, so we want a shot of him. I know there's a shot of it. I know you're gonna scream at me for taking a half hour to find it. But it's one of the last shots we got of that building. Oh, here it is. Okay. Go ahead. Yep.
Go in, come in. Have a good one.
And that's an awkward shot. It is an awkward shot because, like, we want him to be like, come on in, you know?
Yep. Go in, come in.
So, it's just a shot of an owner of a store saying, come into the store. As you can probably tell, we didn't use the audio from this shot just because, it was really windy that day. And we don't like to use windy audio at all in a commercial because broadcasters do have like standards of what they allow on their network, and we don't want that to go against that standard. So here's a really cool shot for us.
Look at this. It's just cool.
And that was a handheld shot. And like I said, we're right here, which is a minute and 30 seconds into our, 2 minutes and 13 second, what is going to be a 2 minute and 13 second video. So commercials are typically 30 seconds to 60 seconds, but in this case, we're allowed to kind of go beyond that because this is an explanation video as well of
Makes your company special. We then write a comprehensive script, and if needed,
it tells the story of how exactly we do things, how exactly we get an edit made, and how exactly the process works for a new customer coming in that's wondering how things work for us. I'll show you something else because it's a whole lot easier to show you than to So let's say on this page, right, we have, this is our actual company website, by the way. The video is 2 minutes long.
Recently, you may have noticed MHP filming the production of Willy Wonka for a private client, and Pottsville Area High School's production of Shrek the Musical for their drama club, among others. Here at Madhausen Productions, we are proud to offer all of our industry-leading and affordable services.
But we kind of explain how the process works in that video of, if you're a new customer, how does this go? What are the steps involved? We kind of want to explain that in a video to our new customers because sometimes they're fearful of the whole process, and we want to show them, hey, you shouldn't be fearful. This is going to be a really good experience for you. But this is something that's just a random tip. As you can tell, this is a slider shot, and it was shot in a funeral home. You can probably tell it was shot in a funeral home. But then we added these flowers that were there in the corner of the room. We just put them on a pedestal and put them on the corner of our shot. And now suddenly that shot looks a whole lot better. Because now we're actually moving something into shot, or we're taking something out of the shot, sliders and dollies and sliders work a whole lot better when you have something close up to the camera and far away from the camera. So it's a wide open space, but we actually have flowers there which are really close to the camera. You can't they're not in focus, which is perfectly fine because we want this in focus, which is the actual service that this funeral home is providing, of having a space for your families and loved ones to come together when someone passes away. And we have flowers here to show that, this is a solace place. This is, a comforting place to be. But they're out of focus, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes you want things in focus. Sometimes you don't want things in focus. With the dolly shot, again, all this, I believe this whole thing was shot on sliders or just tripod shots, which is perfectly fine. But with a dolly shot, kind of a dolly shot, you should always keep in mind that a dolly works on things that are with a I'm trying to think of the phrasing for this. With a dolly, with a slider, with anything that you have your camera, like let's say on a track for, think about how long the track is, and that's how far away your subject matter should be from the camera at maximum. So if you have if you have like a 36-inch slider, then typically you want your subject matter 36 inches away from the camera, and you want something within 36 inches of the camera, which would be considered the flowers there, even though they're not in focus. They're 36 inches in front of, at least within the 36 inches from the camera's lens. With a dolly shot, you might want to go to like 8 feet or something like that. If you're an 8-foot dolly, then you want your subject matter inside that 8 foot. Now, obviously, that isn't in all cases, because we've had dollies where the dolly track is over 100 foot long for productions that we've done, at least, and that doesn't mean your subject should be 100 foot away. Our subject matter was actually just walking along a trail, but we needed a really smooth shot of that subject matter, that subject walking that trail, so we decided to set up a dolly and put it at 100 foot length, which was crazy. Don't do that. I don't suggest people do everything that we've tried to do in the past, because sometimes you set up a shot for literally like 5-6 hours of setting up one shot, and then you have to film it like 5 times because it kind of works, kind of doesn't, and then you say to yourself, okay, that shot could have been done a different way, probably on a cable camera or something, and you just move on from there. And again, here's another shot of something on the left that's not completely in focus. This was kind of like a daycare area of this funeral home. It was like a kids area, that way the kids had a place to be during an actual service. But it's not 100% in focus, and that's perfectly fine with me. I don't... that's something to always keep in mind. You don't need everything in focus, I don't even know what that shot was of. Sometimes I look back in the footage and I'm like, I don't know why I shot that. I really don't. I really like that. Okay. And this is why we keep every piece of footage, because I know this shot right here was not used in the actual commercial for this funeral home. I didn't edit the thing I just gave the footage to a network for this specific project, again, because sometimes we film and we give all our footage to a network. Sometimes the network does things on... Basically, we just give the finished product to the network, or we just give the finished product to the customer, which is perfectly fine with us. and we're just getting a bunch of B-roll at the moment, just so we have stuff to use a little bit later on. Anyway, we're coming up on an hour here editing this, and we're just getting through the B-roll yet, which is perfectly fine. For those who have been watching the entire thing so far, I deeply thank you, but you've already heard all the audio down here, and we're going to be hearing it a lot more as we go through the rest of the edit here, because once we get all the B-roll that we kind of want, we're in at least enough B-roll that we're happy with. Then we might just say that's enough B-roll and go along. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you're on the air for an hour. And I have no idea. Okay.
You know, when I'm unpacking, you know how you hear, you can see, and this looked like you.
And I'm going to just organize all this footage later. I'm just putting it in there now, saying that basically, oh, I like this shot. Oh, I like this shot. And then we're going to organize it all later. This is a bar that we filmed. A while back. Oh god, this was years ago. Ooh, an old jukebox. I typically don't use shots of just jukeboxes. But that was just a cool one. The tops are going to be in the way of that? Yeah. By the way, whenever I'm filming, you're going to notice I have shirts on that say MH News. I always, whenever I'm filming, I always wear some sort of production shirt or jacket on me. That way, just in case, I'll show you another shot we did, just like right after that, which was apparently a couple shots after that. So, like, this is outside of that same restaurant, which is right here, and you know, for instance, like we're filming something and a policeman might drive by and ask, you know, hey, what are you doing, you know? And then we kind of want an answer for them. And so wearing a production shirt or a jacket shows them that, hey, this is a professional thing. We're not just randomly filming a company, you know, or we're not just randomly shooting, especially if you're putting a camera like on the outside of it, which we've done this before for shots to get just a unique angle, putting like a camera on the outside of a window, shooting into a restaurant or something, just because the restaurant's small, we want to kind of show like the place full or something like that. You know, we put a camera on the outside of a window before, and when you're doing that, a policeman kind of walks or drives by and kind of asks, you know, like, why are you doing that? You know, it's illegal to put a camera on the outside of a window, and you know, wearing production shirts and having a production location contract that we're allowed to film there with us. We always have a location contract on us at all times, just so we can say, yeah, we're actually allowed to do this. You know, the owner of this company is allowing this, you know. So that's why we always do production contracts. So that's why we always wear some sort of logo t-shirt on us. Just so we're not asked a whole bunch of questions. And one thing to keep in mind is that when you're filming inside of a restaurant or any kind of business, try not to disrupt their business too much. I just don't like interrupting company's normal way. For this, it was, I believe this was at like 10 in the morning and the place wasn't open yet. So we were actually able to film no problem. And this again was for network ads that and just and so we were able to film
Your
there.
small business, your
I'm gonna mute that because I don't want that in the entire time. Oh yeah, and save your projects every so often. That's always a good idea. So I'm just going through a couple shots that I really like right now. And that's the thing with these commercials, you kind of know after a while, or after you filmed it, you kind of know, oh, I like this shot. Now, this was shot a couple years ago, so it's been a while since I've seen this footage, but I kind of remember it. Once you see a shot or two, you kind of remember the place that you filmed at, And certain things work for the commercial, some things work for different projects that you're doing, but sometimes things just don't work at all for what you're trying to accomplish. So you have to keep in mind, when you're at a location, shoot everything. I typically don't stop filming on my camera when I'm at a location, I typically just hit record and then just only stop for split seconds, And with this could very easily be a photo if we wanted it to, right? In a commercial or in any kind of project. An outside shot could very easily be just, let's say we took a photo of this and then we did a digital zoom on it to make it look like a motion shot. I don't like that. I like just, oh, look, a car's going by, so it's obviously a video clip, I always like to see motion in a shot, and I typically choose motions that are the same. So if something's moving from the right to the left, the very next shot after this will be from right to left, or depending on what it is, because sometimes when we have a person's face over here and they're giving an interview or something like that, I'll keep their face over here. Or I'll get the next person and their face will be over here. If it's fast moving, if it's like they're only on screen for a second or two, I want each person to be on one side of the screen or be on one side or the other. I don't want to keep switching back and forth because the viewer's eyes are going to get confused and they're not going to be able to concentrate on the next subject. I want to keep it where the viewer can keep watching in the same general area of the screen, Here's another little thing we did. This is actually at a local grocery store. We're almost at that 2 minutes and 13-second mark of footage here, which is really, really good. Because we want as much footage for this thing as possible. I mean, just look how much footage we have coming into this project, for like a grocery store, we want to show the a couple like CU shots, which are close-up shots, just like cut shots. And we want to show like the freshness of the product. One thing like here, right? We don't want to show this shot because, again, like I said, I keep just filming every single thing when we're on location. I don't really stop a camera because you never know what you're going to capture at these sorts of things. But I just want to make a little note to you guys out there in the audience that basically this shot shows two people waiting at the deli counter for their food, right? And when you're showing a service, you want to show that it's fast, and we don't want to show people waiting for their the service to be provided. So that's just something to keep in mind, you know. And I'm probably going to get a copyright strike for that too. Just the music in the background sometimes gets you a copyright strike. So that's what happens though. Some shots work out, sometimes they don't. What was that? Oh, we recorded audio for that. That's right. So sometimes, like when you're on location, you just like snap your fingers and stuff like that instead of doing a full clapboard on it, just because sometimes you don't have the crew to do that. Like I filmed this entire thing by myself at the grocery store, so it was just a thing of sometimes you do what you gotta do to actually get the shot. And then like right after that, I think I went. No, I didn't. Apparently. No, there was a shot of it. Just gotta find it. So what I'm looking for. Oh, I sort of like that better. No, I don't actually. And there's a reason why we don't use the audio from these. Because, sometimes the audio is just, like that shot before, I didn't know if you knew where I was or not. You know, like I don't know how to use that shot in a commercial, or anything really. It's just a weird audio clip to have. So sometimes we just like. That's why we. It's why we edit with this as B-roll instead of having it as as regular footage with audio and everything.
No, I fell in it cleaning it out.
And sometimes with just different places you go, you're gonna get like special permission to get some things. We were given special permission to go behind the counter there. Normally, that'd be a place where cameras are kind of off limits because sometimes places don't want to show like this in the background over here. If you can see where my mouse is. But you want to really showcase that, oh, this is quality service here, and the way to do that was just get unique angles. Like for me, what I'm always trying to do, I'm not looking for what everyone else can see. Like everyone else that goes to a grocery store, right? They see, let me find a shot of it. They see this, right? So they see the front of the counter and, oh, someone else on the other side is waiting on them, right? But we want to show this angle where, you know, this is something that not everyone else gets to see. But as you can tell, like, just look around. It is really clean, you know? Like, of course they have stuff out because it's a operating business, you know? But it is clean, and that's what we want to show of. Even the stuff that people can't see at this grocery store, it's all clean. Like, look how immaculate their crew keeps it. And, you know, in the background, you can see quality, you know? Like, just think about your shot sometimes. Think about unique angles that people normally can't see. For instance, if we're doing if we're filming like a concert or something, even for that kind of stuff, we're looking for just the most unique angles that no one ever looks at, right? No one ever gets to see because they're in the audience, you know? So I'll show you a certain shot that we took a while back now. But I'll show it to you because I think it's a wonderful, wonderful shot. It's one of the more nicer shots we've gotten in the past year here. Like, okay, so just trying to find it. And of course it's not here because that's what happens. I click on the wrong thing, and that's what happens all the time. Of course we're live, and I can't show you exactly what's on my other screen because I'm trying to find something else on my other screen. I will find it eventually here. Okay. Here's the shot, right? So this is at a local musical that we film every year. And this shot was actually put up on top of the trussing that held the lights above the stage. So this is about, I would say, 25, 30 feet, if not 40 feet off the ground. So we actually had to, like, you know, get on ladders and stuff to put the cameras there. But this is a really, really nice shot, and I kind of don't want to show that. But this is a really nice shot that we got, and everyone loves it. This had like 8 shares, 8 people sharing it from the musical. A ton of people loved this shot, and we actually ended up using this shot in the packaging for that specific musical because it was such a unique angle. For instance, we have cameras right here, looking at different angles of the stage. This one's pointing this way, this one's pointing that way, of like just a really cool angle. Then we have another camera down here and another camera down here that are facing outward from the stage in an X pattern. This is directly in the middle, looking straight down, kind of thing. There's other times when we put a camera right above on other trussing, looking completely vertically down. You want very unique angles. The more unique angles you can get in a film, the better. And for instance, with this, this is something normal people don't get to see. Normally, you see the front of the counter, and we want to show you behind the counter, because that's something. And I know I'm gonna sit like a child now with my in the words of one of my favorite YouTubers, Diesel Designs Gaming, I sit like a child. So I do sit like a child, actually, sometimes, but I just put my one foot underneath my other knee. I sit like a child. So even though I have a perfectly good office chair desk, I don't sit like a normal person sometimes. If you're at an office most of your day, then you probably know what I mean. So there's a shot I want. And I'm kind of going to go through all these shots. Again, we don't want to show money, because that's not good in a commercial sense. Also, another thing to keep in mind is, as you can tell, like, all of this is full except for right there. That one spot, well, some there, but that's not really noticeable. But this one spot will ruin this entire shot. And so if you're filming something, especially at a grocery store, or anything where they have tons and tons of product on the shelves, I forget what it's called. But you just want to pull all the product to the front. And I used to work at a grocery store. I should know what that term is, but I know someone is watching right now that knows what it's called. So if you do, comment below. Like I said, we're live right now, so actually you can comment on the side screen if you want. But you just pull it all forward and make sure it looks all good. That's something I forgot in this shot, and unfortunately, that ruins the shot. That's the way it goes. And then I just had to film cake because I love cake. And for those of you wondering, how do you get away with filming everything here? Because let's go back to that other shot that we was talking about, right? So look how many products we have in this shot alone, right? We have hundreds and hundreds of products, right? Well, hundreds of actual items. We have, probably 100 different SKUs, right? Which are just products. Basically, this will be a SKU, this be another SKU, that's one SKU, that's another SKU, and there's just rows of different SKUs. So like that whole row behind it is all the same product, just different items of that product line. So it's just different SKU. And for those of you that are wondering, SKU is just the little barcode that you scan at the front of the grocery store to actually let the computers know what item it is, how much it is, all that kind of information that you get on your receipt. But a SKU is just a number of a product that the store can put it in an inventory and know what that item is in the computers. So it's called an SKU, but it's normally pronounced SKU, just in short terms, like I was talking about. But with a shot like this, with a bunch of different SKUs here, you can kind of imagine there's a lot of different trademarks and copyright logos in this shot. How do you get away with putting this in a commercial, or how do you get away with putting this on TV without permission from every single one of those SKU owners? For instance, I'll just bring this shot in here just for kick's sake, just so I can do the effect of knowing what it is. So like right here, right? There's a Gears chocolate milk container, right? I love Gears chocolate milk, by the way, if you're wondering. And I don't know why you'd be wondering, but I love it. It's a local dairy near us, but would you need to contact Gears and get their permission to use their logo? Would you need to, let's say, where's another product? Would you need to contact Silk and get their permission to use their logo? I guess you could, but if you have permission from the grocery store you're filming at, right, which we had permission from this grocery store to film here and get the shots here, and so for us, it was a thing of we don't need permission from every single one of those SKU owners, because, I mean, you think about, well, where's the line then? Where is the line in exactly how much permission you need? Because even in this shot, there's logos right there. There's a logo on every one of those items over there. To what extent do we have to get permission? And in a setting like this where, these product owners know that their products are going to be on store shelves everywhere, right? They know their product is going to be on a store shelf over here and trying to be sold, right? And the grocery store that's buying that product to resell it then, right? There's kind of this understanding of, yes, if we were doing a commercial solely based on, let's say, that same chocolate milk gallon, right? Let's say we're doing a commercial just for Gears chocolate milk to show that it's so much better than all these other milks on the shelf, right? I don't know. I'm just putting an example out there, right? Which, by the way, it is. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, so, like, let's say we're doing that. Well, then in that case, we wouldn't even need their permission to have their logos featured in that commercial. But typically, we'd be working for the corporation that, or the company that that product is being produced by. So typically, we would have that permission right up front. We wouldn't need it because we have a contract with that company already to film this thing. And in our contract, it states, we're allowed to film your product. I'm sorry, you can't come back to us 2-3 years from now and say, you filmed our product commercial, we paid you to do it, but we don't want you to use our logos in that. Like, there's a certain extent there. But when you're filming like a grocery store or something like that, it is a little complex to think about, like, oh, do I need permission from all these people? And the truth is, I'm not a lawyer, and so I can't say, definitively 100% that you don't, but these companies are putting out their products in a public setting, and they want their products to be sold just as much as the grocery store wants it to be sold. And so if, let's say, the grocery store produced this commercial, right? Then Gears would have probably no problem with them putting their thing in their ad, because it's just like a grocery store that's probably local to you would have something in the local paper of the local dairy, or something like that, of this grade of, like, I'm trying to think of meat products or some sort of thing that they would have, like, oh, Cheez-Its are on sale this week, How can you advertise that Cheez-Its are on sale without using the company product logo of Cheez-It or saying the word Cheez-It, How can you say San Giorgio spaghetti is on sale without using the actual company name San Giorgio, or the product name San Giorgio? How can you do that without actually saying the product title? So it's one of those things of, yes, it's a copyrighted and trademarked logo. As long as you're not taking that logo and making a commercial just of that, then you probably don't need permission from them. All you're doing in this shot is trying to advertise that, hey, look how many types of milk we have at our store. Hey, come to our store because look how fresh our products are. Again, this shot won't work because of that one little hole in the in where the products are, but again, this is perfectly fine. But again, if you're doing this all the time, you might want to check with a lawyer on that. for this shot, we didn't really have to check with a lawyer because we didn't actually use this shot, you know? But it's just one of those things of, you know, hey, this grocery store had this little thing. We filmed this for a network, and if we come into a grocery store and they give us permission to be there and film this thing, then in my personal opinion, you know, hey, we're gonna end up getting a couple products in our shot eventually, you know? We're in a grocery store, which has thousands and thousands of SKUs inside of it. So I'm sorry, in order to film in a grocery store to show how much product you have and how fresh your quality or how quality your products are, we're going to need to actually show the products, you know? There is that certain extent. And, you know, someone, let's say Silk, right? They should be perfectly fine with us showing that their products are on the shelves of this grocery store because, you know, if someone wants to buy Silk and says, I wonder where to get it locally, and now they see a commercial out there of this grocery store, oh, I can buy Silk there. Oh, good. Let me go to that store and buy it then. So it's one of those things of, yes, we're using your company logo, but or your product logos in the commercial for another or a project. This was a project for this grocery store. We want to show, yes, we're using all that in that product or the video for the company, but at the same time, someone might see it and go, oh, I can buy Silk there. So it helps sell your product just as much. A grocery store doesn't. They do make things in-house, but for the most part, the things that they're trying to sell are items by other people. Just like here, you know, this grocery store is selling Bob Evans family size mashed potatoes, you know? Well, I'm sorry, we can't show that they have Bob Evans products without showing Bob Evans products and Bob Evans logo there, you know? That whole packaging, before a company puts out packaging for a product, it is copyrighted to no end, right? So no other company can go right alongside it and use this logo or use this little thing or use that font in the same way. No one can use this picture in the same, like no one can go right next to them and basically just copy and paste packaging, right? So everything there is copyrighted. However, we want to show that, and so it gets into this whole legal back and forth thing of like, is it legal to actually show this stuff? And typically, if you ask a lawyer, they'll say, you know, yes, it is legal. You're allowed to do that because really these companies aren't going to complain about you doing and using their logo, because at the end of the day, you're selling their product you're trying to help this grocery store sell more of this product, you know? And the more this grocery store sells of this product, the more that big parent company who is trying to sell Bob Evans mashed potatoes is going to like you, you know? But one thing you always want to do wherever you're at, if you're at any kind of brick and mortar store, which is brick and mortar basically is meaning an actual location, not just an online store, you want to show the company outside. When we do commercials for MHP, we don't show our actual offices because we don't have our address publicly available online. But we always do an establishing shot just for brick and mortar stores because this was actually shot in 2015, so this was a current thing back then. But now that it's 2017, we're probably not going to show that. And depending on when you're watching this, it might actually be 2018. So, one little thing with any kind of shots that you get, this shot is 1 second and 6 frames long. Not that long of a shot. So, it's good as an establishing shot, but it's really cutting it close on, you know, if we needed that shot for even a split second longer, we don't have it, you know. So always film at least 10 seconds of a B-roll shot, just because, you know, you're gonna need it later. So we've gone through all of our footage here. I just want to kind of like go in the file of our finished projects file, which, by the way, we've gone over this yesterday, finished video files, and then videos there to actually do it. I just have it off screen right now because I don't want to show actual client names to a live audience, and that's something I have to keep in mind all the time right now, is that we are live, and we don't have time to go in later on and just like cover things over with little mats, you know, of like, I don't want to show this. But I do want to show a different shot, I think. I do apologize about this because you can't see what I'm actually seeing on my screen right now.
The best way to help is to empower them. So project.
I want to use this, but it's actually for a client project that's not out yet, so I don't want to use it yet. That's the unfortunate part. We have tons of projects that are just like sitting in our files and that aren't actually published yet. Even if like the client has the finished video, but they haven't actually put it on the air yet, which sometimes they just do a project for Facebook or something like that, or they do it for Indiegogo or whatever they're doing it for, but other times they're doing it for, let's say, they're doing it for an actual television campaign that they're going to put it out, you know, nationally or whatever they're trying to do. We can't show it until they show it on the national campaign, even though they have the finished product and they're all happy with it. We can't show it yet, or any parts of it yet, especially when we're working on like Super Bowl commercials and stuff like that, because that's when we really have to be quiet about what's in the commercials, because they're like top secret. Even like our next commercial, our next Super Bowl commercial, we've already had a concept for that for a while. Oh yeah, by the way, that was shot upside down and we just flipped it in post. But even for that job, it was it was this thing where yeah, we have the concept for next year's Super Bowl commercial already, and it's only July, but we can't announce what it is. We can't even talk about it yet because it is top secret, and Super Bowl commercials are like that. They are top secret until they come out, you know? So I'm just going to look through a couple more shots here. This is actually 4K footage that we're going to be mixing in. So sometimes we're shooting in 4K, sometimes we're shooting in 1920 by 1080p, all that good stuff. And here's the good part about 4K footage. I'm normally not an advocate for 4K footage because it's just not needed yet on the market. But as far as this goes, you know, this was a roller coaster, and so you have other people's hands there and another seat there, which was empty at the time. But we're actually able to zoom in until that's all. Out of shot. This was all filmed like a while ago. This was actually filmed 2013, I believe. So it's been a while. But again, it shows that Chevy truck believe the same. I'm not 100% there. So I'll actually go frame by frame to see if that's a Silverado. And, okay, so it's not the same truck. But it's still a Chevy, so we kind of want to show both of them. And that is all of our B-roll for this commercial. We've made it really far in an hour and a half time, as you can probably tell. So we have 2 minutes and 37 seconds and 19 frames of footage to use. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hide all that footage because I don't like seeing what I've already gone through. That's my way of editing. You might have a completely different way of editing, but this is the way I edit. I don't like to see what I've already gone through because I know I've gone through it and I like it. So there is our 2 minutes and 37 seconds and 19 frames of footage that we are going to later go through and bring into this whole commercial. So I just want to have you guys listen to it one more time with some footage there now. The footage is nowhere near the right places, and we still have an ending shot of some graphics to do, which we will, because we're already at an hour and a half into the live stream, I kind of want to save that for another live stream of just, that way we're not having this go on for 8 hours or something, I just kind of don't want to put everything all into one live stream. That would be ridiculous. So today we're going to kind of leave it here. I'm going to let you listen to it one more time here, and so let's listen to it. See how it sounds and kind of looks with some footage. Again, the footage is nowhere near in the right position yet, but at least it's there.
Here at Madhausen Productions, we know how to sell. In fact, we've been helping our customers sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of their products and services since 2001 by providing amazing small business commercials at an affordable price. We have filmed for BBC, HBO, Showtime, PBS, and plenty of local broadcasters. And now our expertise and equipment is available for your small business at an incredible price. Unlike television networks, we're not looking to sell you a package of ads on our network. Our main goal is to give you an incredible commercial you can post anywhere online, focused on your amazing products and services. And just in case you have the need someday, rest assured, we film all our projects in Broadcast Rec 709 standards, which make our videos ready for any cable or satellite broadcaster. Unlike any other video company, we don't force you to close your business for a day while we bring in tons of film equipment. Here at MHP, we pride ourselves in providing a much better quality product with very little equipment, meaning you can carry on business as usual and keep your doors open to paying customers while we film. We'll first speak to you about what your business does and what makes your company special. We then write a comprehensive script, and if needed, we can look into our database of local actors to find you the perfect on-air talent. Shortly after, filming typically takes no more than one business day. After your project is edited, you have the opportunity to make any changes you like, and we send you the finished commercial. After your commercial is complete, we can also help you spread your commercial to the local area or the world, and if needed, help you advertise your brand with our comprehensive graphic design services. In the past, we've helped startup companies sell over $100,000 of product in less than 24 hours after their commercials aired on social media. We've helped small businesses just like yours grow, and the commercials we make have paid for themselves many times over to the companies they advertise. So if you want to advertise your small business, your amazing products and services, or if you want to get your message out to the world, give us a call today at 570-544-3136 to see how Madhausen Productions can help your business grow.
And while we're looking over the rest of this footage here, I just want to kind of talk about this a little bit. So far, I see some things I like. I see some things I definitely kind of want to take out of there yet. Again, that's why this is editing process. It's nowhere near completion yet. And we're going to kind of go through the whole thing as we go along here and explain why we're doing things and stuff like that. but I just want to save it really quick because that was a lot of work. That was an hour and 40 minutes of work to get to this point. Just in the video aspect, the audio we've already edited down, and I kind of want to make sure it is there tomorrow for us to pick up on. So I mean, so far it's looking pretty good, and I'm happy with the progress at least. And I think this is something you need to do with any edit when you're, especially if you're just an editor or something like that. And typically, like, there's weeks where I'm just editing. I'm not actually filming anything. There's weeks where I'm filming and I'm not editing anything at all. So it kind of goes back and forth for me. But with any kind of project, typically if the project is, longer than 10, 15 minutes or so, if it's like a project that's, 2-3 hours long or something, I'm not going to look through the entire thing at the end of the day, each day that I'm working on it. I'm just going to, hey, I know I accomplished what I accomplished, and I'm going to move on to the next thing, or I'm going to, take a break for a little bit, go get lunch, and then come back to it, or whatever I'm doing, right? But let's say it's a 2-minute and 30-second long video, right? I want to go back to the beginning,
Here at Matt Hasn't,
and I want to watch the whole thing at the very end of when I'm editing that day. So, like, the end of the day, or right when I'm about ready to go to lunch or something like that, or I'm done editing this project for the day, I'm moving on to the next project or something like that because I have to, like, do other stuff or whatever I'm doing, right? Before I close a project down for the night or even for the afternoon, I always watch back what I've accomplished. I always watch the entire thing. Again, if it's over like 5-10 minutes, I don't do that, but I want to see the project. I want to see the progress I'm making, right? I want to look back and say, hey, the video wasn't here before I sat down today. This video wasn't here an hour and 45 minutes ago. I want to be able to say, hey, look what I accomplished for the day. And that's how you don't get discouraged as an editor, because editing can be so overwhelming and so tedious, Like, to edit this audio down took a good 2 hours, To record it, it took 45 minutes for that voiceover, To find the music for that took, a half an hour trying to sort through. I'll actually find it here. So, in our files, we have music, a whole file on our music folder known as video background music. So this is any song that we can use for, anything we want. There's no copyright attached to any of these tracks that we have. They're all ready for import into any video. It took a while to look through all those or listen to all those tracks and go, this is the right fit for this piece. It takes a while to do this. And so as an editor, you can get discouraged of, I look back and I say to myself, look, we only got 2 minutes and 37 seconds of footage, and we spent an hour and 45 minutes doing it. That's not a really good ratio. But at the end of the day, I'm able to look back and go, okay, this footage does look really good. So, I feel accomplished in it. With commercials, it's really important to watch back at the end of the day. I mean, here's something where, for commercial projects, everything's been quoted already to the company. It's not going to cost them extra for me to watch the 2-minute, or, usually commercials are 30 seconds to a minute long. So it's like, it's not going to cost them extra money for me to sit there and watch a minute video at the end of my day of editing to make myself feel accomplished, to not make myself feel overwhelmed or, what I just did diminished, at all. So I think, like, looking back over everything is really important, and it's not going to cost my customer extra to have me do that. If I'm on the clock for a company, I clock out and then I watch the video one more time to myself, just because that's what I needed as an editor to keep going, to keep feeling that accomplishment. I need that little sense of, let's look at back and see what we did. Let me see what I did. Let me see what I accomplished today. And then, tonight when I'm going to bed or something like that, I can kind of think about the edit once more, and I can say to myself, what can I do tomorrow to that edit to make it look better, you know? Let me think about the shots that I just got done watching or whatever, right? So when I'm quitting for the day, I watch it back one more time, and I think that's important. And that's why I had us sit here and watch the entire thing back one more time before we end this live stream, because I think it's important for us to look over what we just accomplished together, you know, and see, oh, look at this. Look at this this video now that all the B-roll is in there and ready to go for later editing. And especially with audio editing, because I think with audio editing you need to just be able to look it over and go, okay, that sounds right. That sounds like the right pacing. That sounds a little too slow in that part, or whatever you're going to say, you know. You need to hear it a couple times back to yourself. But with video editing, just watch it over 100 times. You know, watch it over once at the very, very end of your day, just so you can have that sense of accomplishment. And again, I like hiding all the footage once it's all in, just so I'm not looking at it and thinking, oh God, look at everything I have to do yet, you know? I like a style of editing where I'm only seeing on my screen what I have to see, you know? And probably what I'll do is tomorrow when we're editing the footage actually down, what I'm going to do here is bring this to a bigger screen, right? And that way I'm not seeing this source program, the source monitor too much anymore, because I don't really need to see that right now when I'm editing this next part, you know. For the first part, I kind of need to see both of them at equal sizes, you know, like that. But tomorrow I only need to see this program monitor, you know. I like a screen where I'm only seeing what I have to see. Now, typically, I edit on multiple screens, so my right-hand side of the screen, which is my right screen, which is over here, if you can see where my mouse is pointing, over this way, you know. But I actually have the Open Broadcaster system and my live stream for the YouTube thing over here on my other screen, which shows me exactly what the live stream looks like right now. But typically I have the program monitor over there, and then I have the source monitor where the program monitor is right now. And then I have my effects controls right here, and then my effects up here, and then the project panel down here, and then the timeline actually here. So it's typically set up differently, so this is a little bit weird editing for me with this setup, because it's only one screen, because I can't record multiple screens at one time. But yeah, so like tomorrow it might look a little bit different to you guys, because I don't need to see this source monitor anymore. All I need to see is this, and that's what I want to concentrate on. I only want to see what I need to see at the moment, you know? And that's why there's a bunch of different, like, there's a bunch of different, like, panels here of, like, workspaces, because I've done so many edits now that I can say, you know, this is what I want to see at this point in an edit, you know? If I'm editing audio, all I want to see is a mixer on my screen, you know? So on and so forth, you know? So with all that being said, I'm going to leave it there for today. As I said in the very beginning of this stream, next Monday, July 10th, 2017 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to broadcast the 100th episode of VLAMP, Video Lighting Audio Music and Photography How-To Show. It is going to go over the best moments on the show, the best tips we've ever given on the show, best pieces of advice we've ever given, the most inspiring moments by a special guest on the show, the 5 most popular episodes to date. We're going to show you all the bloopers and outtakes from every season and every show of VLAMP. We've had a lot of them. And then that's going to be the live broadcast at 8 p.m. We're going to probably have that broadcast. We'll see that, like, the actual episode is like 35 minutes long. We're probably going to have that episode, at least a live stream of that episode, run about an hour long, because we're going to be talking about the episodes afterwards on the air. Yeah, so like after the episode is actually over, we're gonna talk on air a little bit about I'm not sure if there's gonna be a video feed for that, but and I know we're gonna talk on air a little bit about the episodes so far. We're gonna talk about the 100 episodes and a little bit about my favorite parts of the episodes, my favorite part of the overall show, and how much it's taught us as a crew, how much it's helped others, and some of the comments we've been getting on how much it's helped you guys. So we're going to be talking a little bit after the actual episode is over to kind of reminisce a bit on the 100 episodes so far. With these live streams, we're over 100 episodes already. I know that, but as far as actual episodes that we produced, then it's not 100 yet. It's 99. So next Monday, July 10th, 2017, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna have the official live stream for the 100 episode special. July 9th, I believe, we're having a marathon, a live marathon of every episode of VLAMP so far. That's going to be super, super fun for us to show. I want to see it myself. So if you've missed an episode or two of the show, then you can watch the live stream of the marathon. If you want, there is also on our YouTube page, there's a playlist of every episode ever, which is right there. That is every episode, every video episode ever on VLAMP. So there are 95 videos on there so far. 95 videos, and no need to subscribe to yourself. I love that. So there's 95 video episodes, and there's a couple blog post episodes there as well. But if you want, you can also check out our website, which is mhnews.info. You can see all of the episodes right here. There are also blog post episodes on here, which are just blog posts. We don't actually post a video to the YouTube channel for these. There are a couple of these on here. You can go and check it out. How I made my dolly for $15, which is actually that dolly right there. That was $15 to build. So you can check out how to do that right here on the episodes tab. You can also check out the archive, which is every episode of VLAMP, every video episode of VLAMP so far. You can check out what the topics are going to be coming up for the next couple episodes. We have episodes until September already shot, edited, and ready uploaded to our YouTube channel, ready to publish. They're already ready to go. And in case you're like an audio engineer and you're looking for audio episodes, you can just look for keywords of audio throughout all the episode titles. If you're video, you can look for video keywords, so on and so forth. You can go through all of these episodes of every single season of VLAMP so far and find episodes that are interest to you. You can also find out more about the show, more about myself as the host. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. You can also contact us and send us a question in for the show. I know we're going to have a live Q&A coming up here very shortly, so send in your questions through this contact form right here, and we will get it, and we will be able to talk about it on the show live. There are no rehearsals for that episode, and it's not all edited down like a normal Q&A would be, so whatever's said is said, and whatever's done is done. And you can also support the show, donate any dollar amount, or every dollar counts towards the show. We've created over 29 hours of content for VLAMP, packed full of tips and tricks and how-to tutorials. And so please, any dollar you can give does help this show keep going. And that's just content itself. 27 hours of content is a lot, but to actually film and edit all those hours of content, it took a lot more. So please support the show in any way you can. I'm not going to ramble too much on that. But thank you all for joining us today on the third live stream of VLAMP.
Thank you all for joining us. I am, of course, your host, Matt Haslam. This was the first part of editing a commercial for a commercial. Tomorrow, I believe tomorrow, we're doing the second part of it. It might be later today if I'm feeling up to it, but I'm kind of tired of editing at this point, because before I was on the air, I was editing a bunch. So thank you all for joining us, and see us next time. We are going to be hopefully back tomorrow, and I know, tomorrow, tomorrow is the 9th, so we're going to go live tomorrow with the marathon of every episode of VLAMP ever tomorrow, starting, I believe, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have every episode of VLAMP ever live for you guys until, by the way, every episode ever is going to air until, the marathon is going to be live until, I believe, 7:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. So it's a long live stream. And then we're going to have the live stream of the 100th episode special at 8 p.m. on July 10th. Monday, July 10th. Mark that in your calendars. Thank you all for joining us, and see us next time here on VLAMP, Video Lighting, Audio, Music, and Photography How-To Show. I'm your host, Matt Haslam, and have a great day, everyone.